slide-based presentations from both locally and a little bit farther afield, and wrap that up to talk about best practices. So we'll lead off with a presentation by Ron Davis, the Building Inspection and Special Project Manager for the City of San Jose, a consummate public servant. Ron has been a key contributor to the success of the San Jose's adoption and implementation of its REACH code, as well as its recently adopted gas ban ordinance, and received a Spur Impact Award for his service. And we're going to hear him talk about more specifically the online offerings that his team has innovated for the city of San Jose. So without further ado, Ron, please take it away.
Thank you, Barry. I'm gonna share my screen here. And good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for showing up for this. I think this is a very informative panel here to kind of move us forward. I'm gonna say post-COVID also, although we don't know what that is at this point. I am, as Barry said, Building Inspection Manager in charge of special projects for the City of San Jose. I take seriously what I do, and I also take seriously the fact that we need to do something about electrification and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. So on that note, I also want to say that the previous panelists were, I was sitting there feeling their pain because we went through a lot of the same processes early on in COVID, and are still, we have a pretty good computer system, pretty good online system, and we're still not where we'd like to be. So City of San Jose, we are serious about electrification and the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. We,
Ron, we can't see your screen. I think.
Oh, you
said you were going to share it, but we can't see it. So just wanted to let you know.
Sorry. Let me go back here. Oh, let me go here. There we go. Now you can see it, yes? Yes.
Yep, it's not in presentation mode, but we can see it.
Okay, I will get to that.
Ron, let me share from my end. And then we can
yes,
proceed.
Thank you. Sorry. Let me stop share. Thank you. That's better. Okay, next slide, please. City of San Jose is very serious about electrification and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. On January 1st, 2020, the gas ban went into effect, and so the need to expedite permits has been made more urgent by the residential gas ban ordinance. On August 1st, 2021, all new construction will be required to be all electric. So we're gearing up for that right now. Lots of questions from developers, lots of electrification questions on doing heat pump boilers and all of those kind of things that go into big buildings. So we're happy to see that coming, and we also know that it's a challenge for the developers and the community at large. Next slide, please. One of our online permit processes, which has been for some time now, is photovoltaic solar panels. Those permits are available online. You go to sjpermits.org and click on the PV solar permit and go through the process. At the end, you're able to pay and get your solar panel permit online. It's very user friendly, and we're still updating, which, as you know, updating doesn't always mean improvement. So there's some forward steps and some backward steps, but we're working through that. Next slide, please. Battery storage systems are available online as well. There's a variety. We're showing one type here. There's a variety of battery storage systems in the marketplace, and more coming. Just like solar batteries, well, actually, I would say batteries are more in a state of flux right now in the technology, the way that they're put together, the different components that are constantly being updated and changed. So it is definitely a complex system, and part of the electrical system that has to be carefully installed and inspected. Next slide, please. Electric vehicle charging stations are also available online. It's simple process once again. Much more simple from an inspection standpoint, permitting and inspection standpoint, but it also is an electrical component that has to be taken seriously. It does add a substantial load to the electrical system of the house. Next slide. Heat pump water heaters. I'm happy to say that we have heat pump water heater permits available online, which was a challenge because we initially had we've had water heater replacements online for years, and yet when it came to heat pump water heaters, we kept missing. Folks were continually pulling a water heater permit, but it didn't have electrical components to it. So the inspectors would go out and have to direct the applicant to go back to the online permitting process and add electrical, which was kind of an arduous roundabout way to do it. So I'm happy to say that we have upgraded our system now, and we're able to pull an actual heat pump water heater permit, which includes an electrical component. If in fact the panel has to be upgraded for that at the time, you can also pull a panel upgrade permit that goes along with that. So it's finally become a streamlined process. Next slide, please. So as I just said, all electrification permits are available online. They include residential, batteries, electric vehicle, residential PV, electric vehicle charging stations, heat pump water heaters. Be reminded, these are all residential. All of our commercial projects or non-residential projects are still required to go through plan review. And we still do those in a very timely manner. It's just that we're electrification, we're not able, or we don't have to go through plan review. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There we go. So we've developed a permit system that allows online permitting to be done. And we're able to, can you go back one slide, please? Well, anyways, that are able to be done online, and that allows us to do the things that we need to do to get these permits not only in the hand of the applicant, but to get the inspection done. Yeah, there we go. Obtain a permit online, schedule an inspection online, and have an inspector show up to perform a plan review and inspection in the same visit. And I think I wanted to speak to this because it's not just about getting the permit online. That is one step towards completion. But our process with the City of San Jose is that we have an inspector show up at the site, do a plan review and inspection in the same visit. And I think that's the key to our success, is that we're able to take care of that in one visit without sidetracking those to go through a plan review process. Next slide, please. So, as I just said, beyond the expedited electrification permitting process, we have a training program for our inspectors. Our inspectors are trained in-house, and they're by our electrical experts to perform the various electrification inspections as combination inspectors. And so these folks go out and they literally, first step, look at the permit. Second step, look at the plans, verify what they're looking at, that the plans are accurate. And then they start the inspection based on those plans, and are, you know, able to do that as a combination inspector, mostly because of our in-house training. And that is an ongoing process because the in-house training is often simply because the technology is changing often. And so we're kind of keyed in with the key players in the at the solar and battery storage systems as to what's coming and what we're seeing, and then training for that. So it's a you know, a process that we're working with the suppliers of the manufacturers of these products to make sure that we understand what's coming and what we're going to be looking at. Next slide, please. So our goals are your goals. And I think that it kind of sums it up. You know, our goals are the same as our customers' goals. We obtain a permit easily, plan review in the field, inspection by a well-trained staff, and this equals success for both the customer and the city. This does cut back on the time that we're spending for our permit techs to generate permits. It does cut back on our time for our inspectors to do the process. So it's just a well-rounded plan that works. It works well for us. We have a large population of folks that we serve, and PV and electric storage systems are happening at a very, very high rate right now in the city of San Jose. Next slide. So success for all. Expedited permits are just a beginning. Once the permit is issued, there's still work to do. Plan review, inspection, approval, and then completion and success. So we're very committed to making this a painless process for our customers. One thing that I did want to mention is that we also, early in COVID, we started a remote video inspection process, and we have continued to do that. We have a particular individual, actually staff that does PV inspections via a remote video process, and we have people asking for that service all the time, because you schedule a time, the inspector turns on the camera, he walks through the process, signs the card electronically, and you know, the process is done at that point. And
hey,
so,
Ron,
yeah.
if you can just wrap it up in like a minute or two.
Yeah, I'm just about done. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And so you know, the goal has been met here, and we do have a pretty tightly run process that allows the customer to get what they want, and us to help them with that process and be a part of their success. That's all. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
So we're going to hear from each of our panelists, and then we're going to have a discussion going a little bit greater depth with them.